Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. We are going to start real soon. So before we start, let me tell you, today, for those of you who are in, you will get a very special offer. Yeah, our panelists will be selecting two candidates. Hello. Yeah, two candidates each, which we will give them a free package on some of our services that we have. So remember, as you go along, post your top 2 learning in the feed, and then post your top 2 actions that you will take from the feed. And then we will work with you from there. Okay, so today, a bit about me. My name is Alex Wong. I'm a business entrepreneur and also a qualified accountant from Australia. Well, together with me is my beautiful wife, Lily. We both co-founded InTune together, and we specialize in finance and HR outsourcing services. We serve the SME. I'll be your moderator for today, and it is truly a challenging time ahead of us. Let me first introduce some of our panel today. Let me start with my wife, Lily Yong. I'll let her say a few words about herself.
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm a chartered accountant, graduated from Australia. Prior to this, having worked in a Big 4 accounting firm and an Australian listed company, Alex and I founded InTune 13 years ago, providing finance and HR outsourcing services to SMEs. Thank you, Alex.
Next, we have JJ. JJ is a founding and managing partner of 𝗶𝗃 Partners. JJ, go to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm JJ 𝗶𝗃. I am the founder and the managing partner of 𝗶𝗃 Partners, which is a legal firm specializing in business and company restructuring activities. So we help SME and business owners to manage their businesses effectively in accordance to the law, especially on industrial relations and employment. So we also advise business owners to take proactive measures to prevent any disputes among the business to business and promoting industrial harmony between the employer and employees. Back to you, Alex.
Okay, next we have Mr. Robin Ooi, SEO and AdWord consultant, public speaker, and Amazon's best-selling author from Group 𝒍𝒊𝒗𝒆. Go to you, Robin.
Hi everyone, this is Robin Ooi here. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my videos or posts in Facebook, I'll tell you a bit of a background. Born and bred here in Penang, but I migrated to Australia back in 2008, started a company, marketing agency, sold it off, and then our focus right now, robin-me.com, is predominantly serving Southeast Asia clients when it comes to SEO and all things Google, which includes AdWords as well. Okay, so we help clients from all over the world, and we have been doing that since 2013. Back to you, Alex.
Okay, last but not least, Mr. Simon Tiong. He's the founder and business director. He's an ex-banker and branch manager and integrated financial planner from multi-capital planners 𝒍𝒊𝒗𝒆. To you, Mr. Simon.
Yes, good afternoon to everyone. I'm actually worked in an equipment financing company for 10 years. Another 10 years spent with the bank, and the last position was a branch manager of a major bank. I quit in 2001 and still doing freelance of helping people to raise funds from SME for the past 18 to 20 years now. All in, I have almost about 30 years spending in the processing of SME loans. Thank you.
Okay. So, just a bit of background. We started this series of talk to support SME business owner. This is a tough period. Please go over and watch part 1 if you have missed it. And the new stimulus package number 3 was revealed yesterday. So there is more for SME. That's the good news. And I have summarized the key point here from the stimulus package. Let me run through them with you. Okay, so you can see here, the main stimulus package that is introduced focus more on SME, and if you want to make sure you fall under micro SME, which the grant, which Mr. Simon will talk about later, take note, below 300,000 and staff below 5 workers. So as you can see from the stimulus package yesterday, the main one is actually the salary subsidy. For SME with Malaysian work staff, 4,000 and below, you will get, if you are below 75 people, you actually now get 1,002 a month, and for the next 3 months. And if you are medium SME, between 76 to 200 people, get 800 with a limit of 800 people, 200 people for the next 3 months. And if you are under the category of large SME, you get 600 a month for the next 3 months, and your limit again is limited to 200 people. Okay, so some of the terms and criteria. Now the good news is, subject to confirmation, we are still looking at the confirmation. There is no condition applicable for SME which are below 75 people. That means regardless whether your sales actually dropped by 50% since January, you are entitled to claim. So take note of this. SME, if you're below 75 people, this could be something that will be beneficial from you. And as part of the program, you will need to retain your staff for the next 3 months, up to, that means they will offer you 3 months, you need to retain a total of 6 months of your staff, okay? So here are some of the more information, and if you need more, come to us, okay? Second thing, the micro grant, now 3,000 ringgit is now available for all SME registered with 𝐿HDN before January. And micro grant, we will talk about it later as well. Other money lending and credit facility like BMW credit or Oryx financing are advised to follow bank loans moratorium. So let's see what they say, whether they will also be able to support the SME through this period. Last but not least is the micro credit scheme, which Mr. Simon later will talk about, from BSN and Tekun National. Now is coming to you at absolutely zero interest. So this will be of good support for our SME who needed cash flow to relaunch and rebuild their business through this tough time. Other than that, the rentals, all government premise are given discount or waiver of lease rental, and private companies or private individuals are encouraged to offer discount as well. And tax benefit will be given to those who have offered rental rebate of minimum 30%. So that's good news. So if you are renting your business, please go and talk to your landlord and enjoy this 30% if possible. Of course, for those who have foreign workers, your levy will have 25% discount for all contracts ending April until December this year. Maids and housemates is not included in the package, yeah? So again, the moratorium for 30 days after MCO are for document submission to SSN. So you will need to apply to SSN, and most likely you'll be automatically granted, and there will not be any penalty for late filing. And for those who have not found their name in the pre-Hatin recipient list, you can re-register again to 𝐿HDN. Okay. So hope for the best, prepared for the worst. That's the key statement that we have today for you. Since Malaysia went through movement control order on March 18, our Health Minister Director General, Datuk Dr. Noor, said his ministry is hoping for the best, but is prepared for the worst in the form of readiness for a significant increase in the number of cases. So he has further advised that the same for businesses and households, that even with the recent government packages, it is a fact that is insufficient for businesses and even for the general public to withstand the financial and economic impact of COVID-19. For business, question that lingers on the owners is the impact of COVID-19 on your revenue and on your cost, and the measures that you need to ensure that you are able to meet your obligation, especially in relation to operating expenses like rentals, salaries, and utilities. So these are the key challenges that key question or reality that SME owners must look into. So some of the key things you might want to look into are you guys overstaffed, and whether retrenchment is an option to take now or later. How about your supply chain? Is it disrupted and you need to work for alternative supply? How has the consumer market changed? What are your competitors doing? So these are some of the things that you need to look at if you're SME business owner. Does the business have current asset or other asset that can help you in cash flow to meet your short term. If you need to resort to bank borrowings, how do you do it? And how do you ensure you have sufficient cash? Are you looking into your cash flows? Okay. Okay, and that's the main thing. So going next will be our Malaysian economic GDP. Bank Negara recently have released their forecast that the GDP estimate of between -2% and 0.5% for this year. This is one of the widest GDP range that the central bank has provided for, and it's basically recognizing the element of uncertainty in the Malaysian economy. So MER also estimate there will be a possible 2.4 million retrenchment over the course of 12 months. So without further delay, these are some of the issues that we will discuss today, and we will talk about it as we go along. Start with JJ on employment matters. JJ, on employee and wages, they remain one of the biggest portion in SME, and it is one of the biggest challenge to manage them. Now, it is good that yesterday in the announcement, the Prime Minister already recommended for SME business owner to actually speak to their employees if they need to work out an arrangement. So how can you help our SME if they needed your service in respect to industrial relationship or labor law? How can they do this employee and wages or cost optimization in a way that's effective?
Well, thank you, Alex. I got your question. Well, as you said just now, you gave us a word of the day, right? Dr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has mentioned we have to prepare for the worst. So it's important to note that the retrenchment is something, perhaps it's not something that we want, but due to this difficult time like today, we may come across to this. Like many SME or business owners never foresee like this COVID-19 pandemic situation to be happen. But I would like to point out that retrenchment usually happens only when there are redundancy on the workers. So the employer should recognize that those workers who lost their jobs in a genuine redundancy situation of the company, they have nothing wrong, they've done nothing wrong, and therefore this worker will be paid with retrenchment benefits in accordance to Regulation 5 and Regulation 6 of this termination layoff retirement benefit regulation 1980. So the calculation for the benefit to be paid is depending on the years of service of the worker in the company. So even the worker gets a new job straight away, the employer has to pay the state retrenchment benefit too. So not to forget that we have this code of conduct for industrial harmony, which actually lays down the principle and guidelines to the employers and workers on the practice of industrial relations for achieving a greater industrial harmony. So in circumstances where redundancy is likely to happen, so an employer should always consult with his employees' representative or the trade union, or as appropriate in consultation with the Ministry of Human Resources, labor departments, to take positive steps to avert or minimize reductions of workforce by adopting certain appropriate measures, for example, like limitation on recruitments, restriction of overtime work, restriction on work on a weekly day of rest, reduction in the number of shifts or days worked in a week, or reduction in the numbers of hours of work, and also retraining or transfer the worker to other department or such other works that which is appropriate or suitable. But the ultimate responsibility for deciding on the size of workforce must rest on the employers. But before any decision on reduction is taken, there should be a both-way consultation with the workers or the trade unions representative on the reduction. So if the retrenchment becomes necessary, despite all these appropriate measures has been taken by the employers, so perhaps the employer should also give early warning as practicable to the worker concerned, like introducing schemes. For example, we quite often listen to VSS, voluntary separation scheme, or MSS, a mutual separation scheme, for the payment for redundancy or the retirement benefits. And not to forget also to retiring those workers who actually work beyond their normal retiring age. So in short, I would like to just sum up what I've said just now, that as an employer for all these SME or business owner, if you are facing financial difficulties as a result of this COVID-19 pandemic, retrenchment or temporarily lay off your employees might be an option to reduce your operational costs. But any measure to be taken must be in accordance with Regulation 5 and 6 of this Employment Termination and Layoff Benefit, Regulation 1980. So the retrenchment must be a genuine one, and termination should be done on this foreign worker first, Section 60N of this Employment Act 1955, applying last in, first out principle while retrenching local employees, and not to forget also to submit the form PK, okay, the borang PK to your labor office at least 30 days prior to the effective date of the retrenchment or layoff. So I hope I answered that question sufficient. Back to you, Alex.
Yeah, I think it's really clear, and thank you for that. Importantly, what I get from JJ is to talk to your employee. Yeah, work out something that will work for you and your staff. And like I say, nobody wants this to happen, and COVID-19 and this MCO is just affecting all of us tremendously. Now, going to you, Simon, on business loan and financing, how should SME prepare themselves to have a good chance of getting a loan, especially in this challenging time? And can you also share a bit about the Tekun and BSN microcredit loan? What would be the bank be looking for?
Well, if we look at the two stimulus that the government announced, I'm focused only on the banking matters. Immediately yesterday, the announcement there are specific.
Well, there's some small interruption there. Let's wait for Mr. Simon for a while.
A special grant of 3,000, and also you can go to BSN, can apply up to 75,000 loan, or if BSN fail, you can opt to go to Tekun Negara, apply up to 10,000, because here the government allocate 500 million to BSN, and for micro industry, and for SME they can actually apply through the bank or apply directly to CGC. So to CGC, how much government allocated to SME? Number one, the SRF fund, the Special Relief Fund, is 5 billion. That is specifically for SRF. Very good opportunity, this one. Of course, many banks are doing now for their existing customer only, but there are few banks also giving to new customers. So this loan can go right up to 1 million maximum, but of course many banks are doing somewhere in between 100 to 500,000 is very fast approval, and after the bank approve, they require another 2 bodies to approve, which will take the government, I will encourage them to speed out, and will take about 2 to 3 weeks, which is CGC and SJPP. This one 5 billion, a very good fund. Secondly, the government also allocated generally another additional 6.8 billion to SME itself. So from here, this SRF and general SME, you can apply to the bank directly. And also you can go to, as per yesterday's announcement, directly go to CGC's portal. CGC's portal refer to the stimulus write-up. Directly you can apply to CGC, they call CGC direct access. You can apply right up to 300,000, this one. So for this kind of loan, usually you require a business operation of 4 months and above, 4 years and above, you are qualified to apply. The loans we call 𝐵𝑖𝑠 or we call 𝐵𝑖𝑠𝗟𝗏𝗃, these two, they can go right up to 300,000. Or another option, you can go direct to the bank. The government also approved another 5 billion to another body called SJPP, which they will guarantee 80% of the loan. At the moment, please take all this opportunity to apply. With the government's help, I think the bank will process quite fast right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Simon. Yeah, I think now is a good time for SME to leverage on the banks. Multiple packages and multiple funding options is available. Please go to our panel if you need support. Mr. Simon can help you from A to Z in terms of some of your paperwork as well as the consultancy to get your loan approved. Now, going to Robin on SEO and internet marketing. I think SEO and internet marketing during this time is a big thing. Robin, what is SEO marketing and internet marketing is all about, and how can SME businesses design themselves?
Okay, thank you, Alex. So, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so now that you guys have went through what Mr. JJ and Mr. Simon has talked about defending or getting loans. So, for example, once you get the loan, okay, or once you have the cash flow in, what are you going to do with the money, right? So obviously you can't just stop. And in this day and age, we all know that online is the way to go. Everyone is spending a lot more time online. So I'm going to cover how SEO can help your business in 2020 by riding on the Google wave during this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. So before I get into that, I just want to have a quick checklist. I just want you to ask these 3 simple questions, right? Can a total stranger prospect find your business online without referral? Number 2, can you sell your products or services online? And number 3, do you have a predictable way, aka a system, to generate new leads month in and month out? Okay. Now, if you answer no to any of those questions, you have 2 choices. You take action and do something about it right now, or you do nothing, you pray and hope for the best. Now, obviously, the fact that you're in this discussion, it shows that you're action taker, right? Now, let me just share with you some insights about a bit of, in the most layman's term, what is SEO, okay? And what are the options you have out there. So when you search for anything in Google, especially, say for example, you search for SEO Malaysia or any products in Google, you'll see 2 portions, right? The top part, you see the ad, right? And then the middle part, sometimes you see the Google map, and the bottom part, you'll see this listing here, right? Now, let me ask you this, where do you normally click? And I'm sure most of you would have answered, I'll scroll down to the bottom. So the top part is AdWords, the bottom part is organic. So this is where 80 to 90% of people click, right? Regardless of which industries they're in, which keyword they're searching for, because for some reason, people are more immune to ads, okay? But having said that, there's still about 5 to 10% of people clicking on ads. Otherwise, Google wouldn't be able to afford to provide us with all these Gmail, YouTube services for free. They're making more than 100 million a day easily. Okay. Now, I just want to share with you this buying cycle. The reason I want to share with you this buying cycle is because I want you to understand the human behavior when it comes to making a purchase, right? So obviously your business are offering some sort of a service or selling a product, okay? Now, if you think about it, when people, first and foremost, when they're aware about a certain product or service that they need, they will definitely do some research on it, okay? And when it comes to Google, it's about permission marketing, right? Meaning that they actually, open up the Google search box, they type in a keyword, and then they have the intention to look for your products and service. Unlike Facebook, where you categorize it as interruption marketing, where people go to Facebook to search for, to check out what their friends and families are up to and things like that. And they are not in the mindset in terms of buying a specific product or service. Having said that, there are still some marketplace that allows them to do that. But generally speaking, when people are conducting their research, they'll probably do it in Google, right? So that's where you need to be aware that your business, whether they can find you on Google or not, right? So before they get into the purchase point, right? This is usually referral comes into play, right? They'll ask their friends and family, do you know someone who sells this product A, B, or service A, B, and C, right? And that's why referral works well. But unfortunately, referral is not a predictable manner for you to scale your business, right? If it comes, right? So you need to treat it as a bonus. So until you have a system that, like I mentioned in the third question, to predictably generate leads, then you are playing hope marketing with your business, right? And that's a very risky way of running a business. Okay, so with that being said, how SEO and AdWords help is the fact that it increases your chances of people finding you without knowing your brand upfront. Okay, and it also establishes you as the authoritative figure within your niche. So if someone were to search for a generic product or a brand or service, they find your website on the first page. It establishes that you're the go-to person. Okay, so it adds brand equity. So with that being said, that is the simplest form without going to the details, technical jargons of it. Feel free to hop onto my website and check out further details on it. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you. Internet is the way to go. Imagine without internet, we won't even be having this conversation during this MCO, and the whole economy would have tripled. So internet is the way to go, guys. So to you, Lily, what can you tell us about this micro grant of 3,000? I'm sure a lot of SME is very, very keen on this.
Okay, right before this live show, I went on to the net, to find at various websites like our LHDN, etc. for additional information. I think at this point, no further information has been released yet. But based on my understanding, they are targeting the group of very small businesses like petty traders, pasar malam traders, or the pasar pagi uncle who sell veggie and chicken. So this is the group of people they are targeting to give this grant of 3,000. So how is government going to find where are these people who will be eligible for the grant? Okay, government will be looking at the list of businesses registered with IRB, or from local authorities, or from the Companies Commission of Malaysia. So this is all the information that I get. So they are really targeting the petty traders to give them the 3,000 ringgit grant.
Okay, I think now a lot of business, you need to know where directly you are going in the next 3 to 6 or 12 months. So following the part 1, InTune has co-developed a tool that can be used to measure specifically, if you are in business, your profitability and cash flow position based on the sensitivity changes. Now I'll let Lily to show you a sample of how this could help you if you're an SME owner to look at numbers and plan your business accordingly.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Together with one of our clients, 𝒍𝒊𝒗𝒆 Consulting, Mr. Eddie Chong, he has come up with this cash flow projections. The objective of this is to do a what-if analysis on your profit and also your cash flow. I think last week, those viewers who were with us, we were looking at what if a certain scenario happened, what happens to your bottom line. But today we are going to take it one step further to look at cash flow. The primary objective is that we want to know if when things changes with your cash that is available in your bank, how many months can you last before going into a negative position. So I would like to take the same example of the restaurant that I used last week. Okay, so assuming that restaurant on a normal day has a normal monthly sales has 100,000, but during COVID-19 they are only limited to Grab delivery and takeout. So during the 1 month MCO period, their sales dropped 80% from 100K to 20K. And then the restaurant owner also expected that even post MCO, people are still very scared to go out and eat. And then post MCO, even after the MCO has been lifted, the sales, is still very slow. It dropped to 50%, or if it's even worse, dropped to 70% from the normal. And it takes about 5 to 6 months before sales go back to the original amount of 100,000. Based on the food cost of 30,000 or 30%, and the normal overhead, salary, rental, etc. Okay, this is our assumption: salaries 30K, rental 15K, and overhead expenses. And then we also take a look. Some of the other assumptions that we are taking is that government has announced a wage subsidy of 1,200 ringgit. So taking that into account, from the normal salary of 30,000, it can reduce to 18,000. Our PM said ask for a rental cut of 30%. So I put in a 30% rental cut, and we also cut other overhead expenses by 7,000, by 30% to 7,000. Further assumptions is that this reduced operating costs will be for 3 months because our wages subsidy is for 3 months. Restaurant business is a cash business, but we pay our suppliers only 30 days later. And here I'm assuming that in my bank, I have 50,000 cash, which is my 1 month cash reserves. So when I run these financial projections, these are the results that I get. This, can you see this?
Yeah, open it to full screen and launch this.
Can you see the graph? Okay, share screen. Okay, so based on the scenarios and the assumptions that I've done earlier, okay, so MCO sales one month, 20,000. After the MCO, this business is really good, assuming that sales recover to 100% immediately, meaning in the month of May, immediately go back to 100,000 sales, maintain costs, no wages subsidy, no cost cutting, and I have 50,000 in my bank account. So when I plug it into the system or the cash flow projection, okay, look at this. This is zero. It means zero, meaning I don't have money in the bank account. So in this situation, yeah, so in the month of April, I'm using my 50,000 cash flow reserve to pay for my overhead. And then subsequent months, I continue to accumulate my cash, and I'm able to ride through this, this difficult period of time. This is first scenario. Okay, let's go to second scenario. Okay, the second scenario make the same assumption. During MCO, sales drop 80%, but after the MCO, sales recover very slowly over 6 months. And then the third assumption here is I maintain my costs. I don't take the government subsidy, I don't cut any costs, and I have 50,000 in my bank account as of 1st of April. So when I run the cash flow projection, look at here. April, I'm still able to cover all my expenses, but when comes May, I'm already negative. So if I don't do something about it, and that by next month, I wouldn't have money for my business anymore. And if you look at the graph, the situation will continue only to be worsened before it actually breaks even again. Yeah. So in the month of May, no money, the business is out of money, and then it keeps on going. This is a negative cash flow position. Let's look at third scenario. Okay. The third scenario makes certain assumptions as well. Sales drop 80%. After the MCO, the restaurant sales slowly recover over 6 months. And then the restaurant take up the wages subsidy and also reduce the rental and other overhead by 30%. I have 50,000 in my bank, which is my 1 month reserve. So when this happens, let's take a look. So the business is still able to sustain up to July. So April, this is my cash balance. I still have money. May, I still have money. June, I almost run out of money. In July, I won't have any more money to actually pay for my businesses. It worsened in August, and then September is quite bad as well before it picks up. So this cash flow projection that 𝗍𝒊𝒗𝒆 has created and has shared with InTune to be used with our clients and the public is able to generate 4 different scenarios of your cash flow, letting you know how long can your cash last, before it goes to negative. So in this situation, you are able to plan your businesses better now in anticipation on how long can your cash last. Thank you, Alex. Over to you.
Okay, so I always tell my SME business owner, no numbers, you cannot run your business. All our business is by number. Month end, our salary is also by number. So numbers really help. And with this analysis, you can now simulate your business and you know what kind of business decision you need to make in respect to the numbers. And of course, when situation improves, you can always fine tune the number again for you to able to make new decision. So going to you again, JJ, in terms of debt and company crisis management, could you expand more if the company do go into a position where they have inability to pay debts and creditor, which some could be happening to some of the business out there? How does it work, and what indicators or what should SME look for before they can start this process, and how can you help them?
Okay, thank you, Alex. Regarding to your question, if the businesses, they are unable to, the businesses owner, they are unable to pay the debts, but say except for the banking facilities that we have currently, the postpone the repayment due to the moratorium of the Bank Negara Malaysia. But please do not forget that we also have such other liabilities, for example, rentals, overheads, and also production costs. So do always negotiate with the relevant parties for an amicable settlement in order to avoid any protracted litigation between parties which will incur exorbitant costs. For example, like legal fees and court fees. They are quite expensive. So, but it's always advisable for you to sit down together with your accountants or legal advisors, lawyers, to study the financial standing and evaluate whether there is any possible litigation matters coming to your company. So please utilize the moratorium issued by the government, and also always do risk evaluation and management on the credit terms between you and your suppliers and between you and your customers as well. So other than that, also not to forget to ensure that your staffs are competent to perform in order to avoid any liabilities which may arise against the public. So I believe SME and business owners who are currently listening to this video, perhaps you all are going through a turbulent ride ever since the implementation of this MCO. But some of us wouldn't know what will happen in the coming days. So I believe it's good for me to know some of you that perhaps we can have a small conversation together on how can we actually go through this difficult time together without actually violating any employment and industrial law as well. So and also to preserve the industrial harmony. Yeah, that's all from me, Alex.
Okay, thank you. Even myself, I speak to JJ a lot in terms of understanding some of the options that I have before we recommend it to some of our clients. Going to you, Robin, on SEO and internet marketing, how would you be able to help our SME business outside there if they were to engage you?
Hi, thanks, Alex. So it's very simple. For me, what we can do is we can perform an audit. Just like how an accountant will perform an audit on your accounts, we will perform an audit on your website, on your, perhaps you have an AdWords account. And then we look at where you're currently at. And then we go through a session discussing where you want to go and what are your goals, what are your challenges, so that we can custom tailor-make a solution for you. That's how we've been working with our clients. And the way that we work is very unique in such that we work exclusively, meaning that if you were to help a particular company in the industry, should another one of their competitors come and approach us, we will have to turn them down, unfortunately, because there's only so much real estate that we can push up in the Google first page, right? So, and this is a medium to long-term strategy. And like I mentioned just now in my slides, that it's not a matter of whether you should do SEO or advertise in AdWords or not. It's a matter of when. And right now, MCO and the COVID-19 has just sped things up to like yesterday. You should have started yesterday. So at times like this, I'll let you know upfront as well, SEO takes time. So while waiting for SEO to kick in, that's why we use Google AdWords to supplement the traffic that comes into your website as well. Because unless you have eyeballs looking at your brand, looking at what you have to offer, then you're playing hope marketing for your business. And that's not a very healthy way to run the business.
Okay.
So that's it from my end.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good point. I think for a lot of companies now, it's really high time to think about it. I read recently from the news that Lazada recently has worked directly with farmers in Cameron Highlands to provide online sales and delivery of their fresh produce. Now, during this period, especially when there's so much disruption in the supply chain distribution, online marketing will really help. And of course, this is a good time for you to plan what you need to do with your online marketing, SEO and keyword. Speak to Robin and let him do some magic with you. And lastly, Simon, on business loan and financing, how can you actually help our SME business owner to obtain some of these loans? Like, what are the options available, and how do you actually support them with your services?
Hello.
Sorry, Simon, you are breaking up. Repeat that again.
Funds. These are called, for those stimulus funds, those are called one-off funds. And I think many companies are rushing into it now. So I would suggest many of the SMEs try on the and the banks of tons of companies actually now clicking into the LGN or BSN or queuing out, which in fact the portals are jammed out, So now I think it's I think to let it process the law as existing just with the existing application. I think it is quite tough. I add them apply through the net. So now this is the best time. This is the best time for SMEs, like what Lily just now presented. It is the best time for you to do your housekeeping. You see, for you to come up with your figures, whether you have a positive reserve or a future danger there will be a negative reserve. So at least if you know your position, you going to be negative. So you get your or get your existing banker rate, or you go to the new bank. You see, so now you got to analyze how much actually required, how much and what actually you required. So for you to go to the bank, definitely you better get all the documents ready. Now is the best time. It's the best time for you to get your office people either to scan the documents into the system first, because meet face, you can email the documents to them. Basically, for a process of statutory documents and final statutory documents, return in order. Now, the last 2 years income tax return with receipts there, your piece in and then of course the financial statements. The financial statements are basically in your 2009 management account, better get ready, and all your 6 months bank statements. You get all these primary documents ready first. Then before we identify for the banks to process the loan. So my job basically, I always tell people, I mean, applying for a bank is quite simple. You can either walk into the bank and or you can come to help you. Why you come? What are the dangers that you walk into the bank, and what are the advantages that I can add value to you? Basically, because of year 2000 onwards. Before year 2000, you can walk into multiple banks. Bank A and Bank B, or branch A or branch B, do not know that you have actually approached to Bank A or Bank B. Let's say you go to Maybank and you can go to CIMB and you can go to Hong Leong Bank. Nobody knows before year 2000. And before any bank, the whole KL 420 branches, they can process, but not 1,000. Let's say 1,000, they have own processing functions for business centers. My job is essentially we based on our experience, basically we know and there are many departments. I do retail, emerging market department, or you are going to the commercial department. What do you want most?
Okay, Simon, and I think your line is. We want to apologize. Mr. Simon's line is really bad, and from the panel, we will summarize it for our viewers again. And some of the now before I end, let me just remind you, for some of you who have listened to us, we have a promotion today. If you were to post what are your top 2 learnings and your top 2 actions that you will take after this, we will select 8 people to get complimentary advisory as well as the financial prediction or the financial summary that Lily has done. So post it in your Facebook Live, and then the panel will select 8 people to enjoy this. And yeah, before we take, so from there, let me go back to Lily for a while. How would InTune be able to help our SME if they were to engage you? What some of the charges look like?
Okay, so this is what we will offer to our clients or our non-clients, to public who are not already our clients. For the cash flow projections and simulations that I have shown you just now with the graph, etc. So we are able to do this for you at 399. We will cover April to December and for 4 scenarios. So this is the number to call, 018-288-2209. And this is only valid for the first 20 customers. Offer ends this Friday, and all the consultations to be concluded before the MCO ends, so that you can really start working on your business, getting the loans that you require, getting the funds that you require. So if you need our help to do the wages subsidy application, let me see. If you need our help to do the wage subsidy application, we can also do that for you. Either the wage subsidy application or the employee retention program, we'll be able to do it for you at 299. Same terms and conditions, call us at this number so that we can handle the paperwork for you while you take care of other areas of your business, which is more important, like maybe speaking to Robin on the SEO, or speaking to JJ on how to reorganize your costs, your people, and then also on the loan side, what loans to take care of. So we can help you to take care of this paperwork. Thank you, Alex.
Okay, so I've looked through some of our live feed and there are some questions. For some of you out there, if you need specific information, we'll get our panelists to be in touch with you. JJ, there was one question posted by Handun. He was asking about, he got a notice from government about company can discuss with staff about unpaid leave or reduced salary. He is asking for some tips. How do you actually set it up so that both sides could have a win-win situation? Could you elaborate on that for Handun?
Yes, sure, Alex. For this issue, the Prime Minister has, if we do a recap, the Prime Minister has actually announced the first 𝒊𝒲𝗃𝗃 scheme on the 27th of March 2020. And in the Prime Minister's speech, he mentioned that for SME or business owners to entitle for the wages subsidy program, there shall not be any pay cuts or retrenchment on the workers. But however, we can look in the additional 𝒊𝒲𝗃𝗃 scheme on the 6th April 2020, which was yesterday. So the Prime Minister did not address to this issue. But somehow this 𝒊𝒲𝗃𝗃 scheme was a supplementary one on yesterday. So I would assume that this will still be the condition that is still apply for the applicants. So my opinion is it's better and to be safe to actually read the terms and conditions while you are applying through this 𝒍𝒊𝒗𝒆 website. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Handun, so I hope that answered your question, and I'm sure you needed more information. Please contact JJ directly, and he'll be able to help you on that. Let's wrap up. To summarize again, Robin, what can your firm do in terms of supporting our SME during this COVID-19 recovery and sustainability period?
Hi, Alex. So as I mentioned, they can hop onto my website, robin-oye.com, and then hit the orange button to reserve a private consultation with me. They just need to fill out the form, and off you go. We can schedule a call, and after that, we can help them with their needs.
Okay, thank you, Robin. So go to Robin's website and then click on that button. JJ, how about your side? What can you do for our SME clients throughout this sustainability period?
Well, for SME and business owners, if you are watching this video, feel free to always drop me your inquiries through email or maybe WhatsApp, right? So we will work our very best to help you out, especially when during these times are bad. I apologize if we are unable to respond to you immediately, but we will definitely make it as prompt as possible. So I would be open to listen to your problems, as I will hope to provide you all with practical solutions on your problems that you might possibly face or by you all with your employees, your suppliers, or perhaps your customers.
Okay, thank you, JJ. So yeah, if you need any support in terms of legal advisory, especially on creditors management or on employee relationship management, JJ will be able to help you through this period. And lastly, Mr. Simon, what can you do for our SME business owner to help them with some of this loan application and whatever through this sustainability period? Okay. Okay, Simon, you can now talk.
Yeah, every SME, they have own unique requirements. If they want a fast, I mean, whether okay or not okay, or are they ready, you know, can just give me a call, tell me their problems and tell me what are their needs. Probably I can just help them to do some preliminary qualification before they talk to any banks. So I just want to assess whether they are okay and what they are lacking of and all that. Just give me a call and then we will talk on that.
Okay, thank you. Now, before we end, let me show you, let me give you the contact details for our panel. So you get all their contact details. Okay, so here they are. So some of you, if you need their number, this is the number of our panel. Let me summarize today. So again, let the professional teams work with you and help you through this period. And I have worked with some of our panel to provide you a very budget-friendly package on top of our InTune Care and Sustainability program that we have launched for all our SME during this period. Many SME should really take a time to really look into some of this. Are you managing your wages? Are you speaking to your employees? And are you working out the win-win arrangement with them or not in order to come up with an agreement that will work for you? So if you need more information of that, talk to JJ. Start looking at the impact, measure the impact, and then look at your options using numbers. And numbers will guide you to make wise decisions. Now with that, talk to Lily. She will be able to help you through with the financial forecast. Prepare yourself, like Simon said, for financing if you do need to sustain through this period. Have a pre-assessment with Simon and then use the projection that Lily might give you, and then you can start to see how long and how much you need and how do your business repay. Talk to Simon with that. Let Simon help you on that. And last but not least, take advantage of the internet, redesign your marketing and consider adding new sales strategy that include SEO marketing or AdWords. And with this, talk to Robin. Now with InTune, we stand for all SME to become large. And during this time, we are actually assembling a whole team of experts that could support you to sustain and to relaunch your business. Now with that, I'd like to end today's live feed. And thank you very much and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.